Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and I wanted to show you my new Chevy emblem on the back of my 55 two-door 210 station wagon. Now for the last 20 months there's been nothing but 4 mounting holes here, and I finally decided, with the Tri-5 Nationals coming up next week, even though the weather report seems to indicate that the weather may not be favorable, that this was the time I was going to get this emblem mounted. It's been sitting on my bench for 20 months, and I've been driving around with 4 holes, and the tailgate has looked incomplete, and that's my thoughts on it. And so I decided that come hell or high water, I wanted to get the emblem on. And of course, if you own a classic car, you're familiar with the Murphy's Law regarding classic cars. And Murphy's Law of classic cars states, whatever can go wrong probably already has. You just don't know what it is yet. So now I have this on, and I'm happy. It completes all of this where it looks complete now. All right, now let me show you what I had to do to make this happen. Now the problem I had was this handle is mounted to the outer shell of the tailgate, and it has a square rod that goes in, that's in part of the handle, and it goes and it engages the latching mechanism on the inside panel. Of course, after 70 plus years, and I'm sure that this has probably never been off, the square rod is stuck in the latch. And for the last 20 months I had periodically attempted to separate this handle from the latching mechanisms, without success, I might add. And the last thing I wanted to do was to damage the sheet metal here where this is mounted, because I could probably very easily have done that if I was too aggressive trying to separate the two. I was tired of not having this emblem mounted, took matters into my own hands, and threw caution to the wind, if you will, and did something that most Tri-5ers would probably have a hard time deciding, and I kind of did too. Hell or high water, you know, this emblem is going on. So let me drop the tailgate and show you the solution I found. And this is the latching mechanism right here, and the T-handle, the handle on the outside, turns this mechanism, and there's 2 rods. This rod goes to that latch, and there's one up here at the top that goes over to this latch, and that mechanism is working fine. However, you've only got, you know, 3/4 to an inch of space to work with here. Not a lot of space, and there's actually a decorative cover that would cover all of this. So I decided I was going to have to make the room. I was going to have to figure out a way to get the bolts on the mounting studs on the emblem. Now initially I tried an extension and a swivel to go through this hole, and a 3/8 inch ratchet extension barely went through there. The mounting points are like right here and right here on both sides, and one of the problems is getting light to where you can see what you're doing, and then trying to get a nut threaded on the threaded shaft from an angle, even with the universal, turned out to be just nigh impossible. I decided I was going to get that emblem installed come hell or high water. Well, need hell and high water. I cut this panel out. And now it's a little warped now. But my original plan was to spot weld it back in place. And knowing that, I will probably at some point in the future want to go back in through this access panel. So my plan was to just spot it maybe on each corner and a couple on the top and a couple on the bottom. But instead, my thoughts are that I'm going to probably spot weld some tabs on the inside lip and a couple spots on the top. Some tabs, place this in place and drill 4 mounting holes in this panel, and use small flathead Phillips screws and mount this panel using screws so I can remove it at any time. This trim molding you see around here originally secured a linoleum type material that covered all this up, and that's my plan, that I will do that again, but not immediately, because the Tri-5 Nationals is coming up in 4 days. So my plan, however, is to put the mounting tabs here in place and then use drill holes in here and the mounting tab to secure it without welding it in permanently, because this my hope is that at some point I can have better access to the latch and the shaft on the handle and get those two separated. And it would be nice to just have easier access without welding this panel back into place. All right, so that's what I had to do, and it feels so good to have that done, guys. It really does. I have wanted this in forever, and finally got it mounted. Over the next day or so, I will get some tabs placed on each side and get this mounted. And if nothing else, it'll be mounted. It'll be mounted with 4 screws to hold it in place. I'm extremely happy with the outcome, and think it's going to. It completes the look of the Chevy. It does, and that's about the size of it. All right, guys. Well, that's. I'll continue this video after I get things mounted here the way I want, and then we will go from there.
24 hours later.
Welcome back to the channel, guys, and I've been busy working on the tailgate, the inside of the tailgate of my 55 Chevy wagon. And last image you saw, I had a big ass hole in it, and so let me show you what I've decided to do, understanding that I might need to use that access panel again. I may need to get back in that door, that tailgate panel. So my original plan was to just weld it back up, but then I thought, you know, that might not be such a good idea. I may have to cut that weld out if I need to get back in there for any reason. I have the emblem on the tailgate now. I'm happy about that, and that left me with this gaping hole. Let me show you what that looks like. And this is the hole that I cut. And so, realizing I may have to go back in this hole, I decided to make this temporary, to fix it temporarily for now. So what I did, I put a inner lip here, plug welded it 3 spots, and then I spot welded corners on each side here. And my original plan, and I may do that yet, is to secure this panel with small flathead screws in the 4 corners, okay? Just enough to hold it. But since the Tri-5 Nationals is 3 days away, I'm going to use some I think some urethane glue, and put a dab in the corners and along this, and secure it with that for the time being, okay? And I think that'll do it fine. And in fact, that'll make it easier to remove than dealing with spot welds. Now, I could go in and spot weld it in several spots, and it would be solid. But I've decided that I may still use the screws, but at this late juncture when I'm trying to get everything together for the Tri-5 Nationals. And last night, guys, the weather report for Bowling Green changed dramatically. There was a 50 to 60% chance of rain every day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then late last night, that changed to sunny on Saturday and a slight chance of rain. And then this morning, the forecast was hot and sunny on Friday and Saturday, and then a 30% chance of rain on Friday. And so that made the decision clear that I'm going to drive the Chevy. I'm taking the Chevy down to Bowling Green. My son is going to drive separately, however, and we're going to load all our stuff up in my Dodge Journey and take it down for the trip. And then we'll transfer the contents over to the wagon as necessary, like the camp chairs and the 10 by 10 shade tent. So anyway, that's what I'm looking now for the urethane glue to secure this, and then I'm going to call it a night. All right, guys. Well, it was absolutely necessary to cut this panel in order to properly mount the Chevy emblem on the tailgate. But anyway, and I can always go back after I glue it. I can always go back and replace the glue with screws, or not. Just let it be. Or if I really want to, I could go back and weld it solid all the way around. I'm not prone to do that, though. Somehow I think there's going to be a time when I need to get back in this door panel for whatever reason. All right, well, I'm going to hunt up the glue and put this panel down and call it a night, guys. All right, well, thanks for hanging in there with me, and we'll see what happens next. And I'll be back again soon, if not before Thursday when we're leaving for Bowling Green and the Nationals. I'll probably be posting stuff from the Nationals. If not during the weekend, then certainly the week after. All right, take care, guys, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time from the Shade Tree Garage.